That used to be bow guns and bows and arrows. Now it's, if you deal with firearms. Mental and healing arts have all but gone away. They have their own type of meditation. And I was exposed to just a little bit of it. And this was a Villa Braille system. And the healing arts, through a guy named Sam Tendencia, I was exposed to what they call Hila. And I thought it was really interesting because he looked at me and he went like this. Like that. And I'm standing there going, you remember? That was funny. Did you see what he did? Do it again. So our football team tends to miss wide. Buffalo, they miss wide, right? You guys get intercepted. Sorry. Anyways, what he said is, based on the tilt of your body, how your body sits, he can predict as you age the types of ailments you're likely to develop. I thought that's really interesting. And they adjust you like chiropractic, only it was with a stick. It's really painful, but it works. It really works. And then the spiritual system, this is interesting to me. Everybody gets squirrely when you start talking about a spiritual system. This is south is Muslim, north is Catholic or Christian, and they've been arguing this thing, fighting this thing, much longer than we have. But I just think it's interesting that this is a no-go. You can't talk about this modern society. They don't want to hear about it. In the traditional sense, that's first. That's first. They would enculturate whatever you would have your Catholic upbringing. I thought when Dan told the stories about, they would have him go, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. And you have to recite Bible verses based on combinations, which my best joke in the seminars is, that would make church a whole lot more fun. And now, get your focus. Okay, so as we look at this stuff we do, there's going to be a list, and I won't make it for you, but over here is going to be all the arts that we are trying to incorporate into what we do. BJJ, different CLOT systems, all of this stuff. The stick is interesting to me. So Dan has said that he has 34, there's more, core instructors in the stick. And now he just published a list, which I thought was really interesting. But there's more than 34, because 34 includes the X Factor, which is 4 guys that do not want anything to do with public martial art. They don't believe in that. And anyway, but all of these things we're trying to integrate, and you're going to get stuff going through here. I know you have Lightning Arness, you have different people come in and take a look at it. What your job is, because this is a high-level group here, so your job is not only to learn the material, but figure out how does it fit. And this goes back to the beginning of my talk here. Otherwise, what we're going to get, you guys, is we're going to have a school here, and you're going to have the BJJ group and the Sabat group. And you Sabat people will stay away from everybody because you believe in Sabat and only Sabat, right? And then you'll have the Thai boxing group. And what we want is students who are involved in most of it. Maybe not expert in all of it, because you don't have time for that, right? But you're at least involved, open to going to a class with this, going to a class with that. If we can just get people to try a new class, they always come out saying, that was really cool. I've only ever done Thai boxing here. And that Panantuka thing was really cool. That's an easy sell. I always tell the Thai boxing class, okay, so you got 9 elbows, you're working on all your elbows. Would you be interested if I could put the head right here every time? Oh, yeah. And the Panantuka. Okay, anyways, so I thought I'd start double stick. I'm going to do a little something different. You want to grab 2 sticks? Look at that big shirt. That's a cool shirt. I like that. One is it's an easy way for students to start to relate to each other. So, it's always, how do we start a martial art class? Because we're going to touch each other, we're going to punch each other, we're going to do all that stuff. So this is a real easy way for students to get used to each other. All right, so I'm using the Escalado system as a base. I like this because it was the first, Minneapolis was the first place that Eskrima was taught in public in the United States. That last part's important, in public. It was being taught privately. But in public, it was at the Minneapolis Athletic Club, which I thought was really, really cool. I thought, I'm down. So, I didn't write it down. So what I want you to do is just do a backhand and backhand, a backhand and backhand. Then do them together, backhand and backhand, backhand and backhand. So the first one, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then do them together, 1 and 2. Once you warm up, 1, 2, 1, 2. The hallmark of the system is the backhand leads. So this is always going to come first. They have this little thing. Sometimes they're probing, but sometimes it's strike. Okay? Let's do those 2 inward, inward. Then a backhand and an inward, inward, inward. So the first one is backhand inward. back end in. The second one is we put them together, build the car, right? And then the next one is back end, 1, 2, 3, back end, 1, 2, 3. We do it?
From the top.
Yeah, from the top, if you would. So back end inward, back end inward, put them together. 1, 2. Now back end, pop up, 1, 2, 3. Back end, pop up, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got asked this the other day. So they said, is this cob or is this pie? It depends on the year when Mr. Imasano shows up. It's like, how many Thai boxing students under Master Chop are here? Okay, show me skip me number 1 and number 2. Wrong, this year. 1, that's, yeah, depends on the year. It just depends on whenever Master Chop shows up. It's like the 17 count. Show me the 17 count. We have my old notebook has cities involved. So there's the St. Louis 17 count, there's the Cleveland 17. You get the idea, you go right down. Because it changes all the time. Sorry, we show you. So 1, 2, 1, 2, put them together. Double slash, then 1, and 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Go quick, guys. What about this brain effect? So this has an effect on your brain, I think. So just trust me. You know, I joke with my guys. I always say it this way. I say, those of you who have killed a few brain cells over your lifetime, Kelly. You know, that's the other thing. It's good to have a foil. So it's everybody's instructor sheet, right? It's all instructors. So when you have a class, it's good to have someone you can bounce back and forth. That's why Linda's so good. She caught me, was it yesterday or the day before? And because I was telling them how to look disappointed in your students. And I go like this, I go, it's the hair comb. And she goes, that's what happened. Which is why she's walking. Okay, now I want you to do one backhand, then I want you to do an inward, a low backhand, and a high inward. One backhand, inward, low backhand, high inward. Then I want you to do one backhand, inward, cover, and inward. One backhand, good, cover, good. So the system, or the series is backhand inward, backhand inward. Double it up, double it up. Backhand 1, 2, 3. Backhand 1, 2, 3. Backhand inward, the backhand on backhand. Inward, the backhand on backhand. Backhand 1, 2, 3. Backhand 1, 2, 3. And start over. Okay? Alright, let's go then. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 6 count is the same thing, you just have 2 middle ones. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're just beating up that side of the body. So do the first one, inward backhand. Inward backhand. When you're making a class, that's actually quite a, you can make a whole class out of that drill, running up and down the floor, doing all that. So when you're teaching them, then if you make it double, people like this, okay? For some reason, that's attractive to people. They like it. I like it because it seems to work my rotator cuffs better. I've got lousy rotator cuffs. Then, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And obviously, you're looking. I do have an observation that I'll give you. I'm trying to think of all the things I wanted to say. I've been watching the interweb lately. So I went on the little compy thing, and then you push the button, and then martial arts comes up. And my observation is there's a lot of fancy flash, and not a lot of what the deep body mechanics that we used to work on so much. You know, that real mechanical thing that Kali has when you're doing a technique, and it's all right there. That seems to be going away in the name of, you know, fancy. There's a lot of wrist, there's a lot of things like that. I'd rather have you guys on the other side of that, where there's more mechanical stuff, more of your body into it. And Dan tells a bunch of stories about this, the body mechanics. We won't go through it today, but it's worth saying that it's better to have more body. I'll tell you one story that struck me. I said, well, Guru, so you really want us to exaggerate the body mechanics? He said, when you think you're exaggerating, you're just about right. Oh, okay, I get it. So you want more rather than less. Okay? All right, and then the last two that we added is you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Were we there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did we do them all?
That one, and then we went to the rope block, and then we did the 6 pound.
So you tell me and I'll follow you.
Well, from the top. 1, 2, 1, 2. Put your hands together. 1, 2. Grab your hand with your top card. Back hand with your top card. And we go 1, 2, low and high. 1, 2, low and high. And then we go 1, 2, up. 1, 2, up. Then your 6 count. Oh, 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're 6 count. 2 high, 2 middle, and 2 low. 2 high, 2 middle, and 2 low.
I'll feel over that. Just basic, have them sit, right? And then lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, stop. You get in 10 seconds. You should get 10 6 counts in 10 seconds. You do it. You should go like that. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take your time. So again, attribute is hand speed, right? Coordination, but hand speed. I want you to move your hands. Okay, ready? We'll do about 3 rounds, 10 seconds each. Anyways, does anybody have anything else? Any other questions? Things you've seen? Things you want to see with the double stick before we put it away? Anything you've seen over the years? No? Victor and Sam sparring full contact, no armor? Anybody else interested?
Oh, I've experienced that before.
We keep one stick, right? But just go, just to be able to enter. Let's use a base entry 3. And enter here. To move into middle range and be able to operate efficiently at middle range. To move into close range and be able to operate efficiently at close range in whatever drill you think you're supposed to be. It's really not a drill. It's really supposed to be a float. And then back out here like that. Her turn to enter. So I'm going to respond the minute she enters. Back to here like that. The minute she goes here, that's it. And go back. That's it. My recommendation is that you try to relax a little bit and go back and then back out. Good. If you go in when you think you can, middle range should exist. Make sure you don't skip it. Then go to close range here, and then go back to middle range, and then back out of long range here like that. And then what my job is I clean up pieces. Right, so I try to see where there's hitches, where little things are, maybe there's a reaction that's not installed yet, something like that. You would never start a class like this. So you'll never start a class, right? Well, I do sometimes, but my phase two alternately amazes me and disappoints me, depending on the day, right?
Yeah.
You see it, yeah. Because the things I think they happen, then I think, okay, I didn't do my job. And anyway, so if we could just get that far. Okay, so you have a long range set for you. It's easier when it's set. When it's unset, then you have to find it, and that's hard. Middle range, again, make sure you're using the checking hand when you can. Close range, you have to be in range to use the puño, use your elbows, use your head, use your knees, etc. Okay? All right, grab a new partner. You guys, what you're going to need work is close range. Because that's where the most variables are. That's just where the most stuff goes on. I'm very happy to see that there's no smashers in the room. So I've got a couple of people, we shall go nameless, Josh, that but they insist on smashing. As much as I've told them to stroke, and I want you to go light and all, I use all the right words, I think, but they insist on going heavy with their partner. Well, now I'm going to ask you to go at close range where your sticks are right here, and you're used to doing this all the time. So I haven't come up with a way to handle that in class. You'll have to figure it out. I've tried putting them with people to smash with them, to wear them out, and they just seem to like it. I don't know. What's that? That's not a bad idea. In fact,
Andy volunteered for trivia.
I'm going to tell Andy I'm going to buy this for him. This is Josh's new stick. But what happens is, it's hard on our business because the person that gets hit, by the way, is never that person. It's the other person. Either they hit the stick hard enough and it comes back, or they'll nick the hand. And then you lose a student, right? We're going to lose a student because that's not really what they signed up for. And the old way, by the way, Drew has said this many times. His first lesson with Johnny LaCosta was, here's a big deal, right? I think you know this. Johnny LaCosta had one student. His name is Dan Insana. And here's this guy who's revered as the very top of that art. And he only ever trained Dan. That's why if you ever hear somebody say, I trained under Johnny LaCosta, you immediately look full of shit. But first lesson, he came out, and I think you know this, but I want the history to be out there. He got this introduction because of his dad. Sebastian Asano was a very important figure in Filipino community. And so here's this introduction to this mythical man. This guy was known to be at 2 places at one time. You'd be standing next to him, and you could see him on the beach on the island over there. And explaining it, I don't know, I don't understand that. It'd be convenient. I'd like to do that. Boy, just think what you could do. That'd be awesome.
First lesson was.
Yeah. So what he did was, he came to Drew and goes, okay, boy, now when you go like this, and he said, bang, bang, like that, and he hit his hand, and he hit his shin. And he laid down there and puked, and Nancy just started burdens on him, puked like that. Now you understand. Like that. So there, with that generation, there was not a lot of like questioning. Like you'll get it now. People go, well, I don't know if that'll work, and you wouldn't say that to Neil Dahi or some of those people. You just wouldn't say that, right? And it's like saying to Master Chai, you know, sir, I don't think that would work. Actually, I'd like it if you say that. We'll get to make sure the video on it. Okay, so let's go up close. We have 5 systems that we use up close. And I know I just sort of spoke against systems, but you have to categorize just for organization. So let's do this. This drill right here seems to be known as punya sombrado. That's what everybody calls it. You know this, it's all punya sombrado. We're trading at close range, so it's all punya sombrado. So what I want you to do is this. You're going to catch here like that, and let you see that the angle 1 here like that for angle 1. Angle 3 for angle 3. Angle 5 inside, and angle 5 inside. You do that. You can do that first, and we'll change these about every minute, get the variables up. Okay? All right, grab your partner. That is angle number 2. That is angle number 3. That is angle number 4. Number 5 is sometimes with this foot and sometimes with this foot, and it is palm up. Like this, they feed it like that. And you guys are already running into why. Because when you go like that, you've got to be here with a high wing, and it's not a convenient change, is it? So when you get here, it's better to feed this palm up so that you can get here to cover that line. And then if you're doing this arms or whatever. So as this comes in here, see that sets you up for being there. If you do it palm down, you turn it this way, now you're sort of late, you've got that funny turn. In fact, a lot of times, I think if you palm down, you're better off to lift it. It's just dangerous is all. When you lift it, very slowly, but you see the pathway here like that, it goes by the face. So that's why we don't do that too much. So 1, 2, that's, the system, they have what they call Friday. So when you do an umbrella here like that, that's number 1. When you do an umbrella inside, that's number 2. Number 3 is what they call Friday. They sort of step back and go like that. I like this because it goes super slow, matrix speed. Because when it hits, it's also hitting that. You see why it's so efficient? And come through here. But that's basically what you're doing over there, and it's right by your face. It's very annoying. It's annoying. How's that? So let's address this first, because I know this is picky little detail, but Andy said I could. Okay, so you see that? That will set you up for getting here. Punya sombrado, or this drill, whatever you're going to call it, is all about checking lines. It's not about combat. There's not a mini fight. There's no scenario where they're trying to pretend that they're going to fight like this at close range. I had a guy, Linda was there, she can tell you. There was a guy in London, he's a very prominent martial artist, won a private. And okay, I get it. And I started telling him about these sorts of variables, right? But well, you know, really, I would just sit out here and go like this. I would just do this all the time.
I think you did for the whole seminar that day.
So I just said, well, okay, let's go to lunch. Pay me, but let's go to lunch. You're not interested. And because these are all about checking lines. You're checking, you know what the word is? It's the same theory as this. And people have a hard time with this. Sometimes when I show it, it's the same as this. Cheese out or looks out is about checking lines. Really perfect looks out, nothing should ever happen. Because there would be no change in energy, nothing would happen. Right? But now you know this, when you restart the cheese out, things actually happen. That's the same here. I think that's mine. No, that's mine. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is get detail here. So palm up on the thrust. Make sure that when they meet here, the head is not like that. When she pulls it down, you're immediately going to make that change from here to here, right? And then go back and do it again. 1, 2, check, parry, straight like that. Okay? Let's do one more round. We'll clean it up a little bit. Punya 2, retract it downward, and start your feet again. Okay, that gets you to the back. Punya 2, retract it down, and then we start to feed back here like that. See? We'll just add these variables one at a time. It's easy stuff. What it is you have their stick going upward. That's natural, right? That's how this thing, the training really does take effect because you're going to find yourself using these positions. So the minute her stick goes up under whatever circumstance, let's say we're going like that, like that, you're gonna end up in, because you're used to this kind of training. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I don't get any caffeine anymore except for a little bit of these energy drinks. Really good. Yeah, I got a heart thing because of COVID. But when the doctor said, you know how much coffee I used to drink. So the doctor, he's going through all the things that I might have to do and whatever, and he goes, and about the coffee. Pick your next words very carefully. Anyway, but a little bit is good. Okay, so when you two, one, when you two, bring it down here, and we'll start again. Okay? Why don't you guys switch around? We all know each other. Stop, do like that, and you go back. You see it? So sometimes when you puño here like that, you're going to go 1, 2, and bring it down as you exit, right? Sometimes when you go that, you go puño, and you use stick here like that. Now, I'll give you a little hint because I feed and have trained a lot of beginning people. So when you do this, puño 2, if you're actually going to do this, you're going to hammer this, aren't you? This is going to hit like that, right? I don't do it. I put it out there like that because I've gotten my knuckles hit too often. If I present it like that, they break across your knuckles every time. So just go like that and then go back to the drill. So she's going to do a puño 2, 1, 2. You could just make it with your hand if you want to, or you can go like that first and then come back to it. Okay? All right, let's add that, guys. Right, so we go like that. There's more variable to it, but right now we've got a generator here. Then we added the variable that when you raise the stick here, you're going to go to the outside line here like that. She's going to return it, and then you have 2 exits. 1 down and 1 up. 1 down and 1 up. You go back like that. So, okay, you should have fun while you're training. So go 1, 2, maybe I exit out this way and go back. Or if I go like that, 1, 2, maybe I bring it down like that. These are both going to be disarms, different disarms. But right now, it's just that. We just make it 1, 2. So when I go like that, I'm not going to disarm here like that. I'm not going to take that out. And she's not going to counter it. Sorry. We're on vacation technically. Okay, did that make sense? Sorry. Okay, let's spend one more round, new partner. Clean that up a little bit, then we'll add some more assumption that you will, you're going to work. This is one of the hardest working groups out there. I'm serious, right? I'm not trying to flatter you. But you guys, every time I come in that door, people are burning it. I think it's fantastic. So I don't have any trouble thinking that you're going to get the repetition, you're going to do the research, you guys will, so we can move on. If I thought this was going to be the only time you were going to train it, then we'd stick here for a long time. So I want you to go like that. You see the pulling trap on the side? Now this would teach here like that, but she's going to meet it here like that. Either of us can exit here, but right now I'm going to have the offensive person do it. So I'm going 1, 2, 3. So I go box out, locks out, guns out. Okay, that's the terminology everybody understands, right? So when I go here, box out, locks out, guns out, and then go back to the drill, either person can do it. So the entries and exits, you have 1, 2, take it down, and then go back to the side. You have 1, 2, and go to the outside, and go back to here like that. Now you will have 1, 2, take it down here, and then back to here like that. Okay? All right, new body, guys. Let's switch around. It helps if you relax and don't go hard, because if you're going hard, the mistakes are bigger. So the second one, if I go puño 2, and put it out there like that. Now we go back to here again, and then keep the flow. I would do a cycle the flow maybe 4 or 5, 6 times in between. Right? And then when you do this one, so you're going to go to here. 1. Now I'm going to move my body over here like that. All I'm going to do is exchange this here, and then go down and do like that. Does that make more sense? There's a bunch of things that can happen here. So this is a really interesting connection point, actually. Because all you have to do is jump here, and you already have it. So there's a lot of technical stuff. The way Guru taught it before is this 12 for 12. So you make 12 positions. And at each of the 12 positions, you have 12 techniques. And he admitted, he said, they'll probably teach you 2 or 3, and then you're supposed to make up the rest. You're supposed to say, okay, I'm supposed to have 12 here. So that's 1 if I do that. That's 2 if I do that. That's 3 if I do that. That's 4 if I do that. That's 5. That's But I think it's designed for creativity. And so to encourage that, they throw out a number. You're supposed to have 12. I don't remember 3. Okay, let's make some shit up. Come on, let's just, whatever it is. Maybe they had butts number 9 and what, I don't know. But people like lists. They want organization. This might help you actually. Guru said that it's his generation. He was the first generation, because there's other guys besides Guru. But they were the first generation to teach martial arts to multiple people. To Kali, not martial arts, but Kali. Kali's supposed to be taught to 1, 2, or maybe 3 students. So Jane, you would have 1 person that you're showing your art to, that's it. Or 2 or maybe 3, but the third one, probably you took on just as a favor to the other 2. So it's a friend that came on. But seriously, this idea of big groups of people learning this art together is new, relatively new. And so we're still organizing. We changed that manual. I would change it every year if I could, but I get resistance. Everybody panics the minute I change something. Oh, wait, that's supposed to be number 7. Yeah. So let's stick with these 3 variables. So when you're teaching, you have a generator here like that. So that's the generator. There's more variables that we can do, but we have that. Okay, then what we're working on is the punya here, 2, take it down. That's number 1. Or if we go here, punya 2, punya, and then we go here like that. Back. And then the last one is I go like that, but I go 1, 2, and then I'm going to take this down here and clear it. Okay? Now let's get a new partner to geek out the rest of the time with this. And because there's all sorts of variables how you can. We call Sagun, right? And there's different types of Sagun to do. There's different types of lines of attack. There's all sorts of things that can go on here. That looks like maybe that's enough for now. And let's put it back in the flow. So you have one setup here like that. So that's a setup long range. So this means that I'm trying to find the hand and work my way in and then get to gear. Middle range looked okay. You guys look pretty good at middle range, right? There's different ways to work this. Maybe we can do that. But right now, that middle range looked all right. Close range we worked on. We just worked on one of the systems. But there's different ways to work at close range. And right now, we're not going to do it. I think I'm right here. So with this group, I'm treating this obviously differently than a regular seminar. You guys, I wouldn't do this in a regular seminar. This is an instructor thing. So when you guys do this, I want you to go 3 ranges. Go slow, Sam, please. 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's middle range. That's it. Close range. That's it. Could be. Let's get one round there, and then maybe work middle range just a little bit, but that looks like a good flow. That's a good flow. Okay, fine. So the secret is to relax and respond. So respond to what's in front of you. If you're going along a pre-planned program in your head, you've got it all mapped out to how this is going to go. Like the baseball game last night. We went to the Mariners game, and but it's pre-programmed. I looked up and I went, the Phillies are at the top of the league. This is going to be a crush. These guys are going to get killed. First pitch, he hits it out of the park. I go, this is not going according to script. And sometimes that will happen with a partner, you know?
Oh, you forgot the grand slam.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a geek. I've never seen a grand slam in person before. And I'm like, okay, bases are loaded. And I actually looked away. I'm like, never happens. And all of a sudden I'm looking, I'm going, holy shit. That was fantastic.
Then we were at the church or library or maybe the bar last night.
Fact-finding mission. It's just a research project.
You guys see me when we got?
We went back to Edmonds. Sorry to tell all these stories, but I walked up to the bar. I understand there, and I looked at the TV. They're replaying the game, and I poked this guy next to me and says, "This guy's going to hit a grand slam." He looks at me and goes, "What?" He says, "No, just watch the TV. The guy's going to hit a grand slam." And he hits the grand slam. The guy looks at me and goes, "What?" He actually bought me a beer. So okay, so the deal was we pulled this out and isolated it. We're going to put it back in the flow. Every time you do that to your class, some things are going to go wrong. It's okay. Let them, there's this balance you're looking at between a controlled environment where you dictate all the variables, they go in order, on time, according, and a free flow environment where they learn on their own. And that's a hard balance, right? Some people do very well just free flow, they'll put it together. And then other people, I learned this when I started going to Japan in '82. I think it was '82, you have to ask Takashi, but, and they wanted order, and I wanted free flow. And I learned over the first 2-3 years, they would do anything I asked them to do. Absolutely anything. The Japanese students were wonderful. But if I said, kick that bag 1,000 times, they'll do 1,000. They wouldn't do 1,001. Because that's personal initiative, and they don't do that. They wait to be ordered to do it. And it's why they copy so well. Right? That's changed now. The Japanese is really, they're very creative now. But at first, they were really good copiers. They would take whatever you created and make it better. They would just do it better. And it's precision and all that stuff. And I know this sounds racist, but I really believe, I've watched it over time. I've watched the development. They're good at certain, they're really good at certain things. Loyalty for one is really, that's primary. But, and they drink like fish. It's just, anyway. Well, I've done a lot of good times in Japan. Okay, so when you set up this environment, some of them will free flow well, and some of them won't. If they need more order, just give it more order. Just stop the drill stand and say, okay, wait a minute. Let's do only this part, isolate it. Those people who need order will be happy. Then put it back in the free flow. That makes the free flow people happy. You're good. Okay, all right, off you go, guys. Let's put it back in the flow. With my wrist, I hit your wrist, I hit your wrist, I hit your wrist. Then go 1, 2, 3. I want to give this long range idea. And then I hit yours, I hit yours. Notice that I'm in range to hit this. She's not in range to hit me. This is a good drill, right? Because a lot of people do long range, but they're here. They're going like this, right? It's too close. Now you should be using a checking hand or another tackle, right? So let's do this. Just so you figure out range. And boy, you know, you can walk them through the whole Largo Mano progression. You know, all those meets and follows and that stuff. Can you meet the force? You meet the force, you meet the force, 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 meet the force here, meet the force here, meet the force, and meet the force, meet the force. That's important. But that's it. As a drill, it's important. It's just time. It takes time. You know, really, college classes should be 6 hours. Yeah. I mean, they should be. They used to say that we trained from 6 to 9 at the old little college room, and it was all one class. It was more like 4 to 10, and because we just kept doing stuff. None of us had lives. We didn't have like, girlfriends or boyfriends, or there was none of that kind of stuff. Anyways, we were losers basically. Is what I'm trying to tell you. It was a very difficult period. Nobody liked me. But college classes should be long because there's so much. There's just so much. You know, if you so go like that once. Now she's gonna hit my hand. Hit my hand. I'm not looking on purpose, by the way, so make sure that she's out of range. Because I know that she'll be out of range. 1, 2, I hold it. Otherwise it's gonna be a long ride home. Okay? Alright. Grab your partner, guys. Let's go. So if she can, I just want her to meet the force. Meet the force. Just pick a different numbering system every time. So I just changed numbering system every time. Right? So if you pick a different numbering system, that way they'll have to adjust a little bit. And there you go. So you did the 2 illustrations. But I'll tell you this, my observation. In the MMA era, this precise control of distance that Bruce Lee prized so highly has been lost. Right? It's all about charging in and takedowns and all that stuff. This idea of precision control of distance has been lost. Right? That's one of the founding things in JKD. It's why it worked for him. Is you would just miss and he would land. So that's why it worked. So there's a kid. He's not a kid. There's a guy from Minneapolis, Nat McIntyre. He started with me for the first few years, but he's Greg Nelson product, really. And he has this uncanny knack of, you know, Nat go and make you just miss, right? And it's Thai boxing, but it's this. It's that control of distance that he's doing. So, okay, so let's do this. So we're gonna Sagam. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, That's 4. We're going to take this opportunity just to teach disarms. So if I go like this, I think there's one that I like, particularly because it was told to me by Guru that a lot of people don't like this one. And so I thought, well, I'm going to teach my guys it because people don't like it. So it's kind of the contrary thing. But what he said was this transfer, they didn't believe in, to go from here to here and then come out on that side. And the variable will change when you go here, depending on where her hand sits. So if it turns like that, now my disarm's going to be different, coming back out on that side. So what I'd like you to do first is sagum here. Sagum means to catch, right? So it's cushioning. The way I describe it is, because of my experience with it, is it's hitting the curtains in a hotel room. When you're in the hotel, you can hit the curtains and nothing happens. Don't do the pillows. And don't do pull-ups on the bathroom door, ever. One. What's that? Which one? So the Cecil Hartzell likes the Harry stories. I do too. He had a habit, and 4 or 5 times at least that I can think of, he was, he's a big, strong guy, and he'd go in the shower, he'd come out and go, I don't know, man, it's broke. And he'd go and get dressed. And it happened, I think 4 or 5 times that I could think of, where he'd come out of the shower and go, sorry, man. And he'd go get dressed. But I think he got frustrated, and that's the one you want. Okay, so when you go here, you can punyo first and then drop, or you can go straight to the drop here like that. Pick it up on this side, either top or bottom, and eject it out like that. When you pull, this is your first one, here like that. So this is your second one, here like that. The third one is you take the knee and you walk, and then you sweep back here like that. So her arm is still in here, like that, and it goes. There's a snapping, ripping, and then a screaming sound. And then you're going to stand up and go, I didn't do anything. Fell down and broke her arm. 1, 2, either here doesn't make any difference. When you pull it like that, you see you find that spot right above the elbow right away, wrap it immediately and peel the shoulder back. Then come up underneath and stand here, then take the knee and step, big step here like that, and then sweep. Okay, up you go, guys. So I'm at close range, so I can't be working over here and doing all this stuff without remembering this. And I always think of this, when Guru started learning Balintawak, right? So he's learning the Balintawak trapping and things like that. His wife, Paula, is a very practical martial artist. She looks at everything practical. So if she at any time can go like that, then she's answered the problem. She just goes like that. And with Guru, she like taps him and all, and she's pretty forceful. So while he's working on different checking methods and all this stuff, she's going like this. So you have to check that line first to make sure that you can do that. Now when we move this here, you see the shot here? Take it out like that, and then put it here. This goes right above that little bone. You know the one that gets hit in knife sparring? You see the smiles? Like that, right? That's the first one. That's your second one. So I show you that same time. That's your third one here. That's your fourth one, and we go back on my knee here like that. Billy McGrath does it better. He goes, oh, young guy. Come on. I like, he's got all kinds of rules about us guys before. You have one here like that, and then you have one that goes here like that. You see the disarm? If I peel it like that, I find that little bone, and I'm going to crank up and in. That's the first one. Right? The second one is you can drive here and lift it. You can go here and lift it. Or if I take it back to here, if I take it back to here, I'm going to go on the top here like that, or thread it through here like that. You see the different variables? Depends on how he flops, basically. But this first one's pretty potent. So once you disarm here, and you take it out like that, you hit it here, reach through, and lift it. That's the gift. If you just take the knee and step again, you see what you're going to end up with, right? Oh, yeah. So when he goes back, he's going to end up, he's going to end up on my shin, and then you use the spear method, or you steer him over to the face. That's it. Just steer him over here. Just don't want to fall, because then I'll break him. 1, 2. And then this is what we call the stick shift. It's better if I can get on the floor. Aren't you glad you came in? Yeah. Okay. So did that make sense? So let's go back to it here. So 1. If you take it down here like that, that's here, that's in the same sector that we had before. If you take it on the top, you probably, so my sibling is here, catching. Difference is the tip is up, whereas before it was here, and we did the transfer to this, right? Sibling is here. If I take it down and use the puño here to disarm, then I'm going to transfer like that, pull in, and then start to crank this way. Okay? Now let's try those ones. I'm just inserting. 2 is tip up and you puño. 3 is left hand only and you puño, but the stick is on the top. 4 is left hand only and you puño, stick is on the bottom. You're still going to go to this sector. You're still going to do this. So we'll put this drill together. Sometimes catch with your left hand and puño. Come to there. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes the stick will be on the bottom. Remember to move your arm before you go here, right? And then you check it and go down. So remember to move the arm like that. Sometimes the tip is up. And then sometimes the first one we usually learn is the tip down. You don't have to teach it in that order, by the way. You know, Guru always has given me not just the permission, the command to do it your way, do it in your order. Thai boxing is the same. Sabat, I know they have their list, but they want you to free flow. So Dennis's class should look much different. It'd be interesting because your class should look much different from Jane's. Because you guys should do individual. Like her class will look different than my class. Greg Nelson and I spent years and years and years and years together, and his school is much different than mine. I'm proud of that, actually. That's a good thing. People, I know they sort of accused us of that being a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's what it's supposed to be. You know, your thing. And then the only thing I think is, I'll give Greg credit, and there's some other people too, but he's loyal, right? He's loyal. He runs a very successful business. We're in the same town, but you won't get Greg Nelson saying bad things about my school, and you won't get my school saying bad things about Greg Nelson. It doesn't happen. So they have their thing. They have their own approach to the art, and I think everyone has the right to be wrong. I don't. No, he's fantastic. Greg comes here, right? Was he coming? Yeah, he's fantastic. If you get a chance, I really admire his life journey. Anyway, okay, so did you see the 4? 1 is like that. 2 is like that. 3 is underneath. 4 is on top. Okay, put it in your drill, you guys. New body. You guys go through stick conditioning drills. I have a sort of a funny relationship with this thing. So I made a statement 5 years ago or something, 4 years ago in the camp, summer camp that we're running. That's next week for us. And I said I only have maybe 3 or 4 people who are actually capable, combat capable, with a single stick. They got insulted. They were mad. And the people that came up to me and said, "It's me, right? It's me that you're talking about." And I'm going, "Oh my God, your fantasy is way out ahead of the reality here. To actually, you want to take a guy that size down with 3 blows, back like that. That should be done. That takes out a lot of conditioning. So the dilemma you're going to have when you run a class like that is it's miserable. You're going to have blisters under blisters. You're going to lose students. They're going to, I don't like this. I came here to do cool sombrata and whatever and some double stick. I didn't sign up for this, right? And then there'll be 1 or 2 who are nuts enough, or maybe they need it. They carry a baton or they carry a walking cane or something like that. But I'm just going to do a little bit of it when we do it. So everybody face this way. So the first one, we base this on order this. So the jab goes out and back, you extend, right? So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Beautiful. You're done. You're going to push here like that. Drop your elbow, or your wrist, drop your shoulder, move your hips a little bit, back, straight down like that. 1. It's whole body, you guys. It's not just wrist. So it's a whole body shot. 1, here like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Put them together now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, and 10, and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're going to go with the boutiques here, so they say kila. So what you're going to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first one. So the redondo turns into the boutique, and then you're going to order this, go back out like that. So you have one jab. That's almost always the opening, almost always. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see it? 1, 2, 3, 4. What it is, if you're interested, just while your hand rests. If I go to redondo and she retracts it, you follow it back in. So you just follow the motion up to the head. Okay? All right, so ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 9, 2, 3, 4. 10, 2, 3, 4. 11, 2, 3, 4. 12, 2, 3, 4. 13, and out. 14, and out. 15, and out. 16, and out. 17, and out. 18, that's it. You good? Yep. 19, and 20. Okay, it looks like the wrists are fading. So these are sets of 20, right? 100 or 200 is standard. And I don't know, I think you're going to lose your students if you do it. I really do. They'll go, the first day is kind of cool because they can't move their arm and they have to have their beer in their left hand tonight. But after that, it's small muscle groups as opposed to Muay Thai. Muay Thai has big muscles, right? So, I don't know. On the practical side, if you have a student who has chosen to carry an impact weapon for self-defense, then they have to do this. There's not a choice. That's because otherwise it's ineffective. I had a student who's a police officer tell me right out, do you know what an ASP baton is? Expandable baton? He said, that doesn't work. He says, 26 inches of steel. What about that doesn't work? What are you talking about? But in the hands of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, then he's right. He's absolutely right. You know. Anyway, so I'll leave it there. But if you're interested, there's a bunch of these conditioning drills, and it really comes down to, I think, you're the biggest guy here. So it basically comes down to, can you actually take this guy down before he gets to you? And the standard is 3 blows. Bat, 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 then he goes down, and we move on because they're outnumbered. So I don't have it now. I don't have that anymore. I wish I did. I'm trying to get it back, but it's a slow process. It's a slow process. I had it at one time. It's a lot of tires. It's a lot of sparring. The sparring is miserable because you're losing fingernails and toenails and things. And it's just nasty stuff. So, anyways, commercially, it's a dog. Practically, it's essential. It means it separates you from somebody who's just holding a stick into somebody who is actually capable of it. Okay, let's get rid of this, get a drink or something. Actually, I shouldn't even be guiding you. Any counter, 1, 2, go, back, like that. Any counter for the jab cross. I just want to look at your repertoire. So you have 1, 2, and then a curve line. Whatever your preferred counter is on the curve line, you know I got a t-shirt, right? They actually made a t-shirt finally for the group. So jab cross hook is the feed. Anything is the counter. Okay, let me just look at your repertoire, see if I can add something. Okay? All right, off you go, guys. You didn't hear like that. You can go ahead and try to hook, right? But this is going to jam like that, right? Can you see the thing? So this is the first one. See the shot here like that? As you step, take it down, and then put your chains up. Okay. This is this is a simpler version of this. But what I want you to get is that you can jam this energy. Right? When he goes there, I can just go here like that. That's easy. Right? So you can go here and then come through. And so the core of this is what I'm trying to get to. After this energy here, when you stop here like that, you can use his body to stop. All you do is pull. Look. Like that. He can't hook. It's hard for him to hook when you pull. So if I go like that, back. That's it. If I just drop this, feel like that. You look. It's funny with the nose. Go back and then feel it. And then I'll kick here. So there's easy ways to kind of think about this body manipulation. So 1, 2. Okay, I didn't go here by the way. I'm just trying to shock the body a little bit. Right? And then right now, let's use this as the technique that you're teaching your class. Be careful this elbow hits here like that. As it comes around, there's about 50 ways to facilitate this takedown. Right? And Paul Simon wrote a song about it. 50 ways to facilitate the takedown. Remember that, right? So I love that show. Those are funny people.
Yeah,
Okay, so I just want him to be able to see it, right? So when you go like that, that's the core, right? So just shock that just a little bit. You can just pull like that. That's enough. Hard to hook, right? Hard for that third one. So I'm trying to get the idea of affecting the next punch using this one, right? So if I move the body here, then he goes there, down, and then we kick the field goal, and it goes wide left. We're just going to build the things this way in Minnesota. This way for Buffalo, this way for Minnesota. Okay, off you go. Okay, so now we have to analyze. What is it that I'm going to use here? What is the next logical move? I don't know, by the way. You won't know either. Until you get here, do I go this way? Do I more go this way, bust out? Is that the answer? Do I switch hands? So sometimes when you go like that, this side is already turning. No problem. So we'll just take it here, shift out, and then you might as well just switch. So what I'm going to let you do is research this from the split energy here. Like that. Remember, I didn't take the shot. I was just trying to shock the body so that I now have a little manipulation. You just grab here like that. That's where you're down. Okay, get down, and then you go here. So these are pretty easy solutions, but I'll have you sort of research them. I like the pinch. I really like this one because it gives you so many things. You've got this, take the head, move over, and there's so many different things. You can just use it to facilitate elbows. There's 50 ways to facilitate elbows. That's going in the song, right? So come from this position. Let's assume that. And then you go. You might be more along just basically fine. Maybe you want to just do that. And that's what your solution is. But I want to see you sort of research. Figure out what are my options here. Should I just hang out back and go back like that? Or should I do something else? Should I just run away? Yeah, me running, that'd be funny. All right, off you go, guys. You'll be making a list and then checking it twice. Because there's 50 ways to check a list. Anyway, but it's not going to be the same. I was going to say there's 50 shades of list, but that's not. Okay, all right, so now. But I want you guys to doing great. You're doing great. I could make a list and start adding techniques, right? Maybe start out here with a wrist lock or something like that. Maybe go through that, and that would be one set of things. And then other people are going to have other ideas. Again, it could be just as basic as pulling and elbowing. You just start like that. You have there's a whole list of people, and I watch on the interweb thing, and when they want to go into something they call practical, they shift away from the actual art form, and they go, well, in reality, you're just going to do this, you're just going to do that. I watched a thing, Dan Inosanto put out a video, you can buy it on the Inosanto Academy, self-defense. And I thought, okay, I want to see what he's teaching for self-defense. About halfway through, I just clicked it off, and I sat at my desk, and I went, he's teaching the art. Of course he is. The art is self-defense. It's already in there. You're not going to insert combat into college. Right? It's like making the sun brighter. I know I've used that analogy here before, but it's already in there. Now, depending on the series you do and how you train and all that, that's it. But the art is already combat. Okay, so let's, so when we talk about the jab now, so we did the 1, 2, we started with the hook here like that, then we did the cross here. I just picked one entry, and now we're going to work on the jab. To work on the jab is kind of a special thing, because to actually counter a jab is very hard, right? Because the jab snaps out and back, right? This is going to go here. I think one of my corporate goals is to have Sugar Ray Leonard in for a jab seminar. I want to have Sugar Ray for, you know who that is, right?
While he's still alive.
So you guys hurry up and make a bunch of money, will you? But But so just dealing with the jab is hard, let alone doing all the counters that we have. So what I pointed out to somebody is the counters that we do have little conditions that are in there that make it work. The first one is jamming this gun, this one here. So when you do this, either on the outside, on the fist, on the inside, or go to the face here like that. But something happens here that allows me to do this, right? So simply doing this is just going to bring another jab or a cross or something like that. So that's, I'm just going to get in trouble, right? Now if I actually jam and stick to it, now I have something going on that will lead me to another technique. So I'm going to let you just do the jab. So once you do this and you jam here, or even like this, right? So because I know a lot of the seal-out people, they want you to do it that way. There are some things that have to happen on a jab entry that make it work. So this might help you. Seal-out in particular, Kali, a lot of other arts, the assumption was that the attack is like a stepping punch, a real committed stepping punch. Now the presentation is boxing. Right? You guys have it. You teach good boxing, good kickboxing. So it's different these days than it was traditionally. So we have to encounter this and go here. You have to encounter this, whatever it is that you're going to do on that blow, you have to make it work with a precondition of some sort. So the first one is jam the gun here, here, here. Go to the throat, go to the eyes, go to the face, something like that. Here, like that. That's the first set. So something is going on here that makes this part possible. That's why I'm able to do the technique that I'm doing. Okay, I just want to watch you apply that. Okay, off you go, guys. So it's important, and you'll do things. You know, I was pointing that out. These ideas of martial art are just that. They're ideas, and they may or may not work in certain situations. What we have to do is be open-minded to putting different things in different arts. I think the BJJ community, and I'm sorry, I know some of you are taking your BJJ very seriously, that's great. The BJJ community is growing. Like now they're doing leg locks. If you talk to any jiu-jitsu guy, you think they made up leg locks. Like oh yeah, this is jiu-jitsu. It's a sort of bad shoot wrestling kind of lock. You just made that shit up, didn't you? But they're getting it, right? But if they would go to a jiu-jitsu or a shoot wrestling class, but when we had the shoot class, we just mixed them up all the time. Because Eric told me right out, I see you're having Eric Paulson, that's fantastic. But he told me right away, he said, you know, Rick, when I go to the jiu-jitsu class, I use a lot of shoot wrestling. When I go to the shoot wrestling class, I use a lot of jiu-jitsu. And that's absolutely JKD. You kick a puncher and you punch a kicker. That was one of the first concepts I learned. So if you want to kick, that means I want to punch. If you want to punch, that means I want to kick because you're good at that, right? Okay, so I let that go. So, and I know this is a different presentation than I usually give, but you guys are the core of this high level. So I'd like you to do the inward gunting, so the backhand gunting, elbow up, pull here, push, step. Okay, then we're going to go through a list of takedowns here. That was the request. So this shot hits here like that. This is the sector we've set up here. Elbow and pull, like that. This shot here hits particularly heavy. So the preferred striking surface, when we do these kind of things, we usually use a back fist or a hammer fist, right? The preferred striking surface is this. Here like that, you use the form because it gives me control, gives me the elbow, gives me the thumb, it gives me all the things that I need if I use that form. It's like we use the lower 1/3 of our shin for Thai boxing. You want that forearm here like that to be caught. Okay, so if you go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you stop here. Okay, so you go that so 1, 2, 3. You see the wrench? Tighten your arm up so you don't get hurt. And then push here, and then we'll off balance for you. Okay? Off you go, guys. One of the things is they sector everything. So when I go like that, this motion is an eye shot, but what it does is it sets up sector 1, sector 2, sector 3, and sector 4. Like that. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So once I go like that, if I keep this tight here, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go in sector 1. Right? And that opens up this shot. As this thing extends here like that, that opens up that shot. That gives you that, and that gives you that. That's what works. So if maybe you're bouncing from here to here, as you go up, that's what creates the ability to do that. And then that hammers here like that, that hits, and then you pull and move here. Clean that up. We can switch partners, just switch with each other. You're working. We'll bounce out, use your form. We're bouncing from here to here. Like that. So this task was, this was a parry. Then it was a sliding deflection with a shot on the end. Then it was an inside parry over here like that. But we would say long pocket, this was chug fun. Right, so when you hit that here, this is a sandwich in here like that. That should shut this off. Right? So that slides in. That also creates that sector so that I can parry it off and hammer that bicep. Right? And then we go here, and then you pull. Just put your middle finger right above the elbow and drop your body weight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I would never do this in a regular seminar. We just let it go, hit some focus mitts in about 20 minutes, and then call it a day, right? You guys, I'm going to treat this group differently. So, you guys are pretty different. 50 ways to be different. See it? Belly of the bicep as it's extending. That's when you get your maximum shot. And this is gunning in here like that. This will be over by now. But we're going to wrench it here like that. Hammer it here, we're going to stop. We're not going to take down here. Okay? All right, new body, guys, switching around. Okay, so I can do the takedowns. I just want to explain. It's just at about here, on most of these takedowns, if I lose my balance, you guys have to find a new Sam. You got to go somewhere. Well, you go to Sam's Club, of course. Because they've got 50 different Sam's Clubs. When we go like this, the first one, when you push here, you move like that. The first one is what we call the head spin. Take it, do like that. Okay, zip. So that's the first one. So I'll have you guys each do one. Right, hit the throat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there, freeze. Okay, now you hit the throat from underneath the ox hand. So you hit it like that. That's the throat. Right? At that junction, you can change. You can switch an eye rake or when you're hitting. You don't have to stay there. We're going to do the head turn. So start the head turn, but what he's going to do is walk this side of his body over here and turn, and then right there. Now all you need is one finger to do the drop. Literally one finger to do the drop. Right? Follow up is another. We just did a Sunday seminar. I brought back Sunday seminars, and we did follow up. And that's because all the time, especially in a 1-hour class. I don't know about you, when we teach a 1-hour class. I go like that, and then I go, well, there would be follow-up, but we got focus mitts to do, we got other stuff, so we skip it. So finally I said on Sunday, we're follow-up. There will be follow-up. And a lot of people came off of it. One, this is the first one. You see the shot? Right, there's the throat, right there. You see it? Turn, and beautiful. Pull it like that to hold them up. So when you're teaching this, you have to look at your class. So if you've got people who are not going to go with it, you're setting them up for problems because they're going to get a big chiropractic adjustment coming underneath like that. Not a good one, right? So it's dangerous, right? So you have to decide, well, this is so hard. If they're not going to go with it, if you're not, say, first of all, I didn't hit you in the throat. So you're not gagging, you can't feel your arms, you can't feel, there's a whole bunch of stuff that isn't happening to you. Just help me and go down with it. Otherwise, you have to put that other stuff in. And then you reason it out with them and say, look, I did this, you've been poked in the eye, you've near, this arm's been wrenched, you move here, you're going to be mostly unconscious anyways. By the time I hit your throat and start you moving, now you want to fight. It's not really like that, right? So that's not the deal. We do one more each. That's it. Just hammer, hit it, walk. Yeah. So essential points. So either jam here, here, or here, right? Or here, here's fine. But you're doing something here to facilitate this. Even if this is retracting, it's okay. That crazy bone is still available. When you hammer this, there's a body reaction, which is why that works. Right now, when that hand comes out, all you have to do is move over and straighten this out. Right? And then straighten this here. When I hit here like that, that's a sandwich. That's going here like that. Some of your students will want to do this. They're going to grab and hit here. Nothing wrong with it, not really. It just slows you down. So once you do this, you're slowing yourself down. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. It's not. There's not time to go like that in the middle of it. There's just no time. 1, 2, 3. As you move, there's the line. Do you see the line of attack? Like that. Okay, now this comes up. I'm using bigger motion, right? So this is pulling down, this is pulling up. That all of that has happened so far. Now I'm simply going to walk over here, and he's ready to go down on it, and then he just takes it. All right, keep going that. Up you go, good. 3, 4, 5. Push here like that. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop here like that. Sometimes they will headlock it first, and then they drop. And you're going to shoot this across the body, and he's going to end up here, have to throw it, and bring it back. Okay, so, sorry, Dave. I just worry if I lose my balance. So go really slow, relaxing. 2, 3, 4. Now, you project this way. You see how you project out, and then you're going to wrap the head. If you want to do the headlock first, just lift up. Right? And then what you do is you push the head right through your body here like that, and it stays very close. Everything's right here, like that. This is more advanced. They consider this the higher arc. Can you do it again? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Wrench. Now project out. 1, like that. Go here, 2. Now when you drop 3, that's it. There's 2 breaks. 1 neck break and 1 arm break. You hit the throat, as you can collapse this here like that, you collapse on top of his head, and there's your break. Sometimes they wrap the arms in their legs. I don't do that one. But you know who, I'll tell you who has a very clear, there's 2 guys I can think of, SEALOC people, have very clear vision of what their art is and what it's for. Mal Mourni is one of them. He's a really interesting guy, very nice person. I really like Mal a lot. But I would never want to be his demo guy. Oh my gosh, does he lay it to those guys? And I'm thinking, whoa, you've got to slow down. The other one in our sphere is Mario Seixas. You know who Mario is? He's from Italy. He's on island, Sardinia. He's from Sardinia. But he's a SEALOC guy that really, everything is a neck break. Everything is lethal, basically. And I look at that, and it's over the top for most people. It's too much. It's just too much. But they have a very clear view of what their art is. It's not a sport. And you look at it and go, you're right, that's not a sport. There's nothing about that's a sport. It's not mixed, it's not whatever. It's just, it's like the Pendakar used to say. Sorry, I keep telling you stories, but I do want this group to have the stories. He and Dan Inasano, Pendakar Palditual was a guy had a car accident, and he was a little hobbled up. His SEALOC was unbelievable. His Sarah, but then he later watered it down to create Puki Nagara. And he and Dan Inasano are walking into a 7-Eleven, and this guy tries to mug them. You talk about a bad day, bad decision, right? Yeah, I'll mug those 2 guys. And he ran up to the Pendakar. All Bruce said was, you know, Rick, it's the most violent thing I've ever seen. He's bang, he's down, bleeding, and they're walking away, and that's it. And I think, wow, the people who say SEALOC doesn't work, they haven't seen it. They haven't seen it. Pat Herman was like that. Herman Sawano. And if you look up the tape, he was really something. I liked Pat an awful lot. And he was killed in a car accident in Germany. But there wasn't any doubt. You know, like I tell my personal story, he was trying to he'd do all these weird takedowns, and I wasn't trying to count him. I just couldn't figure out which way he wanted me to go. He grabbed my right testicle. He's trying to turn this and go, what? I couldn't find the ground fast enough. I'm like, oh my God. So all these people that tell you, well, if you grab me, I would do this. No, you won't. Exactly what I want you to do. But they meant it. They really meant it. There was no sort of confusion about am I sport or am I combat. There was none of that confusion. They're absolutely combat. Their identity is secure. And we have this mix of doing sport martial art for attribute development, but 1 foot in the combat realm, because I want to have you guys to have legitimate self-defense and legitimate combat arts. So we get sometimes our personalities, or not personalities, sometimes our priorities get mixed enough so it's confusing for the students. Even though you might understand what you're doing. Okay, you're doing the Thai boxing class to develop a power base, conditioning, defensive structure, etc., right? But they think, okay, I'm supposed to learn this for self-defense because this is self-defense, because he said that was self-defense, so this must be self-defense. You have to make it clear for the students. What are we doing? This is for attribute development. Sport, if you want it to be sport, you want to fight in the ring? Evan, I think you should start a ring career. What are you now, 30?
35.
But we have to be very clear about what is attribute development in our system, and then what is reality. You know, if God forbid you're down watching a Grand Slam, and after that somebody jumps you, what is it that we use? What is our or look at actual self-defense, as opposed to developmental science. Does that make sense? Okay, so, sorry, will you guys do this one more time? Because I want you to have this one technique anyways. So, 1, 2, 3, now project all the way over. You've got, you see when you drop right in your armpit, right? Lift it. That's it. Now shoot it across your body. That's it. They go right there. See how you split it? There's a double break. Neck and arm. Hack the throat. What that does is create, they're going to gag. Then you jump on top of their head and break the neck here. Okay? All right.
In that hammer and ankle position?
First, put a capella, which is with your hands. That's all. You're just going to use your hands. You do the put a capella. 1, so you can see that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, hit, and put a capella. That's it, right? Beautiful. Yeah. And then, remember? There you go. I think we got something going on that, don't we? And then there's like this way, and there's 50 different ways to do it. Sam, what are you doing? Just be careful over here. Yeah. Now, this is a particularly popular takedown. People like this because it's easy. The reason it works is number one, because of the hits. So when I go like that, if I hit him here, pull back, 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 that's why it's working. Because of the direction he's already moving. And then you push down, the balance is already off. Just let your beginners make it work. It's okay. It'll sit down for them, whatever. It gives us some follow-up possibilities if you want to teach. I've seen a lot of people mixing, just trying to add my observations. I've seen a lot of people mixing, which is great. But remember the different modes you're mixing in. Like we were just talking about literally taking his head and slamming it into the corner of that, right? Okay, so that's the desired follow-up for this. Okay, which is horrible to think about, but that's the art form. It's a military system. So that's the thing. Now we think in terms of, right? You want them to tap. They don't give a shit if you tap. You tap all you want. That's not the point. It doesn't make it better or worse. It's simply a different mentality. That's all. And I see the little squabbles back and forth on the internet about whatever. They're insulting this art or this art. You know, the soldier group, the true like operator level guys. I think the one guy put on there, he says, just because you wear pajamas and swing sticks on a mat doesn't make you a warrior. Okay, I get that. I understand that. I don't think he needed to insult martial artists just because he's in another realm. He's in another thing. No need for that. But this particular thing allows us to do a number of blocks and holds and things. If you're in a combat mode, I saw this in, he's a very high-level JKD guy, by the way. He's doing seminars all over. He's unbelievably athletically talented. The way he moves is beautiful. But he had this entry, there was an elbow, there was a neck break, he's moving like this, just like this kind of stuff, right? And then in the middle of it, he lays down and does an arm bar. Then he lets go of the arm bar and he kicks the head, steps over it, twists and breaks the neck. And I'm thinking, okay, cool, that's just the coolest shit I've ever seen. What's the arm bar doing in there? In that sequence, why this? You know, it just didn't belong in there. So what I would advise you is try to keep the mentality of what you're doing straight. You know, what are we actually doing? If we're trying to train a bunch of bouncers, no problem. Then you just have to figure out what the rules are. You know, because every city is a little bit different, every country is a little different. So England used to be, bouncing was all bets are off. They'd walk out like that and then they'd throw them out and go like that. You can't do that now. Everybody's got CCTV and all this stuff. They're very restrained now. You know the story, right? So, okay, you take them down. 2, 3, 4. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, good job. Okay, now there's different takedowns. So, right? So the first one is she's going to stomp on his face. Right? Stomp on his face. Beautiful. Now take a huge step out. Big step, big step. Okay, this is the technique here, like that. One of my students, Phil Norman, did this in the middle of a huge brawl that was legendary. They got a brawl with the Portland football supporters. Anyways, he's talking on the radio, he's holding this guy, and he's doing this. Anyways, he goes to get up, he thinks the guy's dead. You gotta stay there, you're dead, Sam. So Phil's warped, twisted brain. He goes, oh my God, he's dead. And he looks around all the cameras. So he picks this guy up, he picks this guy up under the armpits and starts going like this to make everybody believe he's still alive. He throws him in the paddy wagon and slams the door on him. Well, it turns out the guy came to and he didn't kill him. But just the way his brain thinks, oh, look, he's still alive. That's the story. The better one, you can do this circle. So just branch down. Just lay on your face. Never mind. Just lay down on your face. It's easier this way. Okay? So flip him over. Okay, so if you just kneel across his back, just sit on. Just sit on. Yep, there you go. Bring one up. And two up. There you go. One and two. Okay, this we call the surfboard. And there's 50 ways to get into this. My friend Brendan Westwood, who's passed away now, he's responsible, by the way, for the phrase MKG. Anytime you see MKG, that was him. That was him. Before that, we were the Collie group, or I was Minnesota Collie group, or just something like that, right? But he did MKG. But he worked in a club with a big arcing staircase, and he actually rode a guy down the staircase like this. I know people who were there, and he got him in there. So what were we doing again? Okay, the first protocol, and I'll show you why it's the first one in a minute. We do one more time. And then you guys do the follow if you want. I didn't either. Those are the stories that went away. 1, 2. First protocol is mostly with your hands. Right? Just turn it. Okay? Off you go, guys. Okay. All right, so we go like this. And then the last one here is this one, right? Where you pull down and you move here. And then this one goes over my knee. I'm going to drop. But this one goes over my knee here, like that. Okay? So the neck goes here. The rest of the body is here, and then the follow here. They did the national demonstration in Indonesia. The student killed his instructor on the stage. He got it right. He was nervous, right? He went a little too fast. You can see what's happening, right? And so when they went down like that, the neck went over. And so that's this as well. Does that make sense? And it's as simple as getting it caught between these two forces. We always do it slow. And at this stage, I'm not able to make the motion dynamic enough so that they would understand that automatically. So you might have to point, you move really well. So you can do it as hard as you want, and just you don't get another Sam. There's 50 different models of them. Sam's up. Yeah, well, we can accessorize. Or you could go more a pink motif or something in, yeah. Yes, sir. As you do it, you'll feel it. First of all, it's harder to count. So it's going like that. This one's easy to count and just walk out. But there's too much space. But the reason you teach it is because there's all that space. So when you go like that, and I move here and I do this, there's a lot of space. Easy for kids to understand, or not kids, but beginners to understand. Right? Yeah. How old are you? How old are you? Perfect. This one here, there's this up and down motion. And then as you move in here, you're guiding it through. As you change here, you're already shifting into this and this and this. So it's just so subtle when you get it right that I think it can be counted. Anything can be counted, but it would be tough. Okay, it's to understand the sensitivity of when you go really social business. So if I'm here like that, 1, 2, if I pull here and I don't make it, maybe I have to switch out. Right? Maybe you have to go to another sector, right? So the sensitivity drills that we do are so important, not for the techniques. You know, we're comparing techniques and doing different things. That's one level they call katoy. Like katoy is a wooden technique. It means he's cooperating, I'm doing the thing, and this looks great. We make a list over there. The funniest list I ever saw was in Houston. And Dan had made 34 block flow versatile, or 32 I think it was, 32 logs. And we went through all this stuff, and it's so pretty. And I'm trying to remember, okay, what is it? He says, is there any questions? The guy goes, well, what's number 33? You don't have the first 2. So they get obsessed with this list idea, right? They want more and more and more on the list. What the important thing is can you use it? Can you move and switch? If this thing goes bad, let's say I go here, and all of a sudden this is going bad, you're swinging again. Right? Do I have the ability to switch out? And if so, to what? Right? What is my next move, my next move, my next move? That's more important for me, for you guys to have, than an extra 2 locks on the end of the list. Right? The list is important, don't get me wrong, but it's the ability to understand the situation and how it moves, dictated by the way, economy and motion. So we've talked about this the whole time you guys have been open. Economy and motion is structure, momentum, and pressure. Right? So what is the structure? Where are our relative body parts compared to each other? What is the momentum? So meaning we're moving, right? And then what is the pressure? I'm pushing here, he's going away there. How do I feel that or know it? And then how do I respond to it? That's where the drills come in. That's what we do for the last 25 years. So what I'd like to do first is mix Kubot and Chisa. So I know that that's a lifetime for each endeavor, right? So if you go like that, I just want to see how you train together and what you look like here, and then how this looks and what kind of thing you guys are working on here. Chisa, by the way, is making a comeback. I've got an 8:30 in the morning group on Saturday that just shows up to do Chisa. I told her right out, I said, Linda, this is never going to work, nobody will show up.
That's just so
And you do. But I'd like to see you mix Kubot. Remember, they're two opposite ideas, right? One is unsticking, and one is sticking. And again, if we need to make a list, we'll make a list of things in each one, just to keep you interested. But the idea is to be able to mix them. Okay? Let me just see you do that, right? Because if you have any Wing Chun friends, you can't show them this. I never did this, so I'm going to make 2 of these. We'll call them Tansai. I'm going to make 2 of these. We'll call them Bongsai. They're not exactly that. That's what I'm saying about it. 1, 2, 1, 2. She's going to make 2 of what we call Fuksao. Fuksao is a shape that sits in the middle of your body, and when you're doing the set, this progresses inward as far as is comfortable, and it should feel as though you're being pulled by a string like this. Okay, so if you get this right, bones sit up and down from each other, here like that, and we're not going to do the set, I'm not going to make you do this, but that's the idea. So if I'm on the outside, I'm going to give her just enough pressure to make her shape. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Right? So I'm keeping my bones up and down from each other, moving towards the center. She's making those shapes move toward the center. There's not a real commitment. So one of the things that I would like to correct in my group is this. Okay, you see this all the time. Okay, which is great. It's great. It's an overcommitment here and an overcommitment here and nothing in the middle. Chisa is a 360-degree drill. So there's something going on in 360 degrees, not just here and here. So now you got the 350 are not accounted for. So it should have a nice steady feel, forward slightly, just enough pressure to keep attached, and then back to good. And this is a substitute for you making them go through, sitting and doing this, because you'll lose your students who do this. Right? I tried it. The first time I had my Wing Chun class, it was great. I had 34 people in the class. Fantastic. Ask Diana when she comes. 2 weeks later, it was just Diana and I. Nobody, they were over there kicking tripods and doing this. We were too active a group to make them stand on here. Okay, so, just a substitute. Get to the hand, thumbs in, roll this up. Maybe the elbows come slightly above the wrist if you can. Your shoulders shouldn't punch. It's not that way. It should be relaxed. Do like that back and forth. Okay, try that. Now, instead of 2 of these and 2 of these, we're going to make 1 of each. 1 of each, 1 of each. And then from here, when you cheese out, it depends on what you're trying to do with cheese out. So that's why I always say use the word luksao. Luksao is the rolling of the hands. And that's, I think, a little more important. Chisao is sparring. And what you're trying to do when you spar is up to you. If you just want to have a slap fight, have a slap fight. If you just want to slap each other, that's no problem. Chisao's one format for you to do that in. It doesn't promote good energy when you get hit a lot. Right away, like that. I have 2 students who actually pretty much ruined each other because they screw around a lot, which is fine. We're very casual, but they wouldn't listen, and they're like that. They just want to hit each other. Well, now when you go and touch them, it's all over the map. They're like this. They didn't learn how to cheese on. They just learned how to slap fight. So 1, 2, 1, 2. That's the 7. So notice the 2 bones are up and down from each other. We're projecting center line to center line. Right? And this is what we call first set practice, which means that the first set is all square. Ceiling tile is all square. Second set is all about turning. The third set is you start moving your feet. So this is first set stuff. Our center lines are straight with each other, and everything moves to the center. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, can you do that? Follow my girls around, so we'll fix that. I don't think it's going to take all of us. Can you imagine me being the guy who's following her daughter? Okay, so now we had two of these, then we did them alternate. Now we're going to do one on the outside, one on the inside. So my hand responds to this one. So the more he goes into palm south, the more I go into palm south. The more he goes into palm south, the more I go into palm south. The more he goes here, the more he goes here. Okay, so I'm just playing with his energy a little bit. But that's the idea. Okay, so when you go here, I want you to bring this here, and then take it downward out. So just bring this in. Yeah, got it. One of my favorite teachers, he actually lived with us for a while, Dave Mancini. He's a guy from Reno, and he's not around there. She signed with him looked like this. Good. But he would let you basically screw yourself because you go like that. Sifu Francis, by the way, the first time I met him, I've known Sifu an awful long time. And he went like this, he goes, "You got me too hard." He walked away. He was right. Because we were crashing. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Right? It's a wooden dummy. I'm a trapping guy. Right? But it took him that long to feel it. And it was I think fascinating. So you want this to be center line, everything is responding to center line. And the positions change according to energy. Now at first we just roll, we make the position change. But after a while, if I push here, there's 6 points of contact, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If I push right here, that's palm south. If I push right here, that's palm south. You feel it? And it's like logical. You feel it. You go, oh, well, console solves that. There's a reason for these, not just this. When the JKD family got Chiso, they inherited it from some very high-level people. I met those guys. Hawkins Chung, James Lee, those guys. I met these people. William Chung, I spent a lot of time with. And they were really into the higher concepts of Wing Chun. And then fast forward 2 generations, and we were going, okay, just pretend like you're holding a ball and slap them in the chest. Like all of a sudden, all of that beauty went away in the name of let's just drill, let's just go for it. So I may sound a little obsessed with this, but I'd like you to have it right. It's way more fun if you have it right. So the next step is one hand in, one hand out. So this is my right hand in, obviously. And again, you're trying to find the center line, right? It's not up, it's not down, it's not right, it's not left. It's right on the center. Then put your left hand on the inside and do the same thing. 2, 1, 2. Okay, you try that? Because the people you learn from will be different. They'll start different. Their progressions are different. Their thoughts about the thing is different. And Nino Bernardo, I really like Nino. I really like him. The reason we don't bring him in, and this is maybe a thing for you guys to remember when you have guests here, he's overly sexual. So everything is, excuse my word before.
218 is fine.
So he starts a seminar at my school, right? He goes, it's a fuck stance. And I'm like, Nino, you can't do it. So half of the crowd is just turned off completely. The guy's a genius, by the way. He's an absolute genius with his work. But he's too crude, and so we don't have him back. I've known Nino for a long time. And he's got one sort of view of it, and I think it's valuable. I think all of them are valuable. Okay? So, okay. I really didn't need to say that. So you have 4 positions. Right hand in, left hand in, both hands in, both hands out. That's all I want you to do. That's your next job. Is to just get these. So when you put the right hand in, And don't worry about how to switch. Just put your left hand inside and your right hand outside. Put both hands inside, put both hands outside. So the official MKG switch is
Shake it all out.
like that. Don't worry about it. Because the switching is the energy, by the way. That's what's actually going to happen here. Is as you're switching, now you're creating and so 4 positions, right? 2 in, 2 out, right in, left in. Okay, you see Chi-Sao is better than no Chi-Sao at all. And some sensitivity is better. Like we have, my guys, you know my people, right? They butcher everything. So I say touch is touch. Whether it's Chi-Sao, whether it's Hubud, whether it's Pommeling, whether it's Funk, whatever it is, touch is touch, right? And then they, of course, said, well, at MKG there's good touch, and there's really good touch. I don't know why we do that. Okay, so when I teach, first thing I work on now is this hand over here. So what you're going to do is you're going to use this to turn, lock and set, punch, she's going to go like that, and then we're going to roll back in. That's the first drill. So we can get this one in 5 minutes. So when I go like that, 1. Now, 2 things are going to happen. As I move my body this way, he's going to feel a little tug here. I'm not actually trying to pull him. It's just that in that position, as I turn my body, that will naturally go that way, right? So if you watch the position, 1. Okay, now, the second thing that's happening is this one, I'm using this railing to turn it this way. That is operated by this stick right here. So, 1, 2. So this is a center line projection. I'm going right down the base of the center line to see where his hand is. Once I know where this is, this can either tonsil or laptop, doesn't matter. We're going to put it here, and then we're going to roll back here like that. So we're going to do it. I'll talk you through it. So first one is 1, like that. Pops out and sets out. 2. And then you're going to either ton or lock and punch. Enjoy. And then you go back. Then I do it. 1, 2, 3. You have to do it like that and do it. 1, 2, 3. Let's check out the back. If you go too high, you get your combo, because that goes over the push it. Go like that. That's what they call lansao down. Lansao goes up like that. You see? Let me get into this.
Just like Polo, I have to do.
All right. 1.
Oh, I'm
2, 3. We got 1. Sometimes we use the word mansao. Mansao is the inquisitive hand. It means that it simply means that when I'm bound to here, I don't actually know where his other hand is. I know where this one is because I can feel it, right? I've got 2 hands on it. This one I gotta go find. Oh, there it is. Now I can punch and go back here. So one more time on this. 1, 2, 3. And that's the first drill I've been starting with lately. Okay? I can switch around, stay here and teach all day. I would prefer that. So, Chi-Sao, let me just give you some thoughts. You can use it however you want. It's the old JKD thing where you like a ball. You know, it's like we have a ball in the middle. We're going like that. You're trying to slap each other's chest. It has some value. It has some value. I have a couple of analogies, but they're not good. But I think it's cheapening what this is. And you guys have access to people who can really, really help you with this, you know, and make it valuable within your art. It's just a drill. Because people are going to say, well, why would you ever do this? I think we should go out to a bar someday. You stand on that end of the bar, I'll stand on this end of the bar, and you'll come by and bump me. Right? I've always wanted to set this up and bump me, and turn around and go. And you guys be like, oh my God, it's a Chi-Sao fight. This is fun. Nobody fights like that. But you know what? The plum is like that. The people who say that exact thing, they're quite happy to do the plum and go, oi, oi. It's nothing worse than Western people going, oi. Anyways, but, oi, oi, like that. And they're quite happy to do that. But combat-wise, that's a silly game. It's a silly game. Grab his nuts, poke his eyes, and throw him on the ground. But for sensitivity, it's fantastic. We do a lot of plum. And it's partly because of Greg Nelson, who's in Minneapolis. If you haven't done that with Greg before, by the way, I really, truly believe he's the best in the world in that game. I've felt a lot of people. That sounds bad. I've had a lot of people do that drill with me and never felt anything like that. So Anyways, so all of these are specialties. Food blood is a specialty thing, but they all have purposes. And so my preferred sensitivity formats would have a weapon in them. Because our sensitivity has to be higher. If I've got a knife in my hand, you've got to follow me, right? You can't just force that. And I know a lot of the discussion in martial art now is, he's got a knife here, right? And they're all discussing how to grab this. Well, we got a lot to do before we start grabbing it. We got to keep this out of the body first, you know. There's a lot to think about with the knife before you're thinking about grabbing it, right? Yes, sooner or later, you may have to come to grips with this as a knife. But most of the time, you're going to spend deflecting and keeping it away from your body. Because if he hit this, he just dulled that knife, it might even break. You know, Guru Asano was in Minneapolis years and years ago. And I have to say, Greg was probably the best conditioned athlete I had ever known, maybe have ever known. And Guru Asano did this disarming like that, and Greg sat back and goes, nothing but sparks. Very respectful. So, Chisao belongs in a compartment in the variety of your sensitivity drills. Make sure you know what you're doing with it. Why are they doing it? Explain it to them. Okay, I want you to get an idea of center line. I want you to have a feel when the center line is violated, up, down, right, or left, and then give you a few things to do with it. And then this is why we're doing it. If you want to have them slap fight, no problem. I just ask them to go off my property because I don't want to. Let them go over there and cheese out something like that. Go home. No, that's fine. Does anybody? So this is a special group, and I'm trying to treat it like that. Do you guys have anything else about MKG, the curriculum, anything that? I mean, you guys have been around forever. Is there something else that I could answer?
What's your favorite Master Chai story?
What's that?
What's your favorite Master Chai story?
That I can tell?
Yes.
I picked him up at the airport one time, and I pull up. We have a drive. It used to be easier in Minneapolis. We could just drive up. They jump in and go. Right? So I drove up. He gets in the car. Goes, "Okay, we got to go, sir. We got to go." And he's just agitated, right? He said, "We got to go." I know all the airport cops. I trained them all, right? So, is there something wrong, Master Chai? You okay? No. So we should go now. No. He's like this. He's sitting in the car. We should go. I look into this big commotion. I said, "Master Chai, what happened?" I snap him a little bit. So I go in there. This big cowboy had picked him up on the wall and yelled some sort of racial thing. And now he's laying down there unconscious. And he actually hurt Master Chai's knee because when he went down, he fell against his knee. But he picked up Master Chai and yelled something at him. And, well, you know how that ended. And I snapped him a little bit. So he's amazing. I used to have a knife when Cold Steel came out with their little one, and I used to have it right under my steering wheel had a little gap. I slid it right there. And he goes, he's right in the passenger, he goes, Dr. Costa. And before I know it, he throws the door open, picks this knife up, and from here to your door out there, he buries it in a tree. I mean, I had a hard time getting it out. I'm pulling on it. He just went whap like that. Holy shit. When he grew up, his dad was a very high-level general. He would be like the chief of staff in our thing. So he was all the military trainings. He would go to all the different military trainings, and that was one of them. But he could throw a knife like you can't believe. Like, I can't throw a knife. I'm better off with a rock, and I'll keep the knife in this hand. But yeah, I think there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. So, yeah, you could get if he wraps the napkin like this. So his dad, they were in Dallas. When he was working with the Cowboys, and his father came over. He gets a motorcade when he comes over. They have, the whole government deal, right? So they're in the restaurant, and this big old cowboy walks over and goes, "Duke," like that, right? So he goes and sits down in his chair. So Master Chai is wrapping the napkin around. And he's so subtle, he just looks over and goes, "Ah!" like that, right? There's something wrong with your friend, so too much to drink. How's that? Those are two good ones, right? Anyway, so you guys, I try to close with this every time. You have an awesome, my favorite group, this is my favorite group. And, you know, obviously Andy Wilson is the reason. He's the reason. So I hope you appreciate it. I know he's under the weather today, but actually, I think he's just lazing around. I think he's just sloughing off. He's sloughed off a lot. It's just, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But you know, stay loyal to him. Keep building this thing. We've been through where we are in my mind. At 66, I'm seeing things different. We went through a lot of building times. You guys have had a couple of buildings yanked out from underneath you. So we've had to change, right? We've had to adapt. And then this thing called COVID hit. You might have heard about it. It was in all the newspapers. So we survived that somehow. Most businesses didn't. Most businesses this size didn't survive, right? So you guys did and flourished. So we've come out of that more or less now. And now's the time, the trajectory should look like this now. So, you know, we've talked about it before. There are thousands of people out there who, if they were exposed to this, would walk in here and go, holy shit, I want to do this. This is fantastic. But we have to make the conditions right. So we have to make it friendly. We have to welcome them, whoever they are. You get a guy like Edmund coming in, we still have to welcome him. But no, when you started, I didn't think you'd be a long-time student.
Really?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
It looked like just a casual interest for you. And now you're one of the most dedicated, accomplished students here. So you never know. You never know who comes in and really flourishes. And then the other thing that I would remind you is, they might not be long-time students, but we have people who need to be here. They need to be here. And we've talked about some of this because of the work you do. And, you know, they're being picked on, they're doing whatever, it doesn't matter what the reason is. Maybe they're a little insecure, home life isn't great, whatever it is. There's something about this thing we do that helps those people. And I think about that a lot. Every time we make a change or whatever, I try to think, okay, how are we helping the people that are coming in that really need us, You're going to stay around as long as we let you beat somebody. Just kidding. Right? But, you know, there's certain people you would have stayed no matter what, you know. But there's other people who need this more than that. You know, you're probably one of them, actually. Yeah. Because this is a thing for you now. And that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Be careful. Just watch them when they come in. There's a process. So, especially if they come in a little insecure, they get a little skill. They start to, okay, I can actually do this. It's pretty good. And then they get a little acknowledgement. People start to know who they are. Well, that's Sam. Look at that. He can really go. And that's when the ego, it's possible for the ego to get out of control, right? To take you away. And just be careful of that. I've seen so much, you know, and then they say or do something that they regret, and you know, but just be careful of that part. Otherwise, you know, encourage people to come in, make them feel welcome. I think the free beer policy is fantastic. I like that.
New.
When does that start now?
Tomorrow.
Everywhere I go, it's tomorrow. Anyways, I always appreciate you guys listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.